That, boys and girls, is what some people like to call a deep breath, okay? Some of you motherfuckers clearly need to take one. In an age where you can go on your phone and instantly be shown numerous success stories about how a 22-year-old made more than the value of your house in a day, or an outrageously convoluted morning routine that usually involves taking enough supplements to kill a small animal, or someone with a physique of a combine harvester benching the weight of your entire family, it's easy to feel like you're never doing enough. It's easy to succumb to the pressure of always feeling like you have to do more, and that everything you do has to be spot on, no room for mistakes. It's easy to feel like every second you spend out of working, exercising, and improving in general is a waste. It's good to chase what you want. It's good to want to be better. It's good to take things seriously. But don't let your life get too serious. Over-seriousness is dangerous. I'm going to tell a story that I'm sure anyone who plays games, trains in a sport, or has a hobby will be able to relate to. A couple of years ago, I downloaded Rocket League for the first time. I'd play with my friends on ranked, we'd do tournaments, etc. We had fun, win or lose, we enjoyed ourselves. There were no expectations because we were new to the game and were simply playing for a piss about. Gradually, we started to play more often, we got better at the game. We developed some skills and we won more. I even started playing by myself. As we won more, we went up the ranks and played against better people. With our newfound skills, we built up an expectation for ourselves. We no longer felt comfortable just playing the game for enjoyment. The objective was to win. The game that I once played for peace and relaxation became serious. The game that once had us all vibing now had a genuine effect on our moods and would have us verbally abusing each other to the point where we questioned if we even liked each other or not. Of course I'm joking. Lee, it was your fault we lost that semi-final, okay bro? I don't give a fuck if your controller died, you piece of shit. Point is, the element of playfulness was lost on us. We no longer tried new things or took risks anymore because we were too frightened of making a mistake and losing. We stuck to the basic, meta strategies, rarely stepping outside our comfort zone, and the game became a boring, frustrating cycle that revolved solely around winning and losing. And even when we won, we didn't have fun. So we stopped playing, for quite a while actually. But just recently we've started getting back into it, and guess what? It's fun again, because we're all a bit rusty, and once again, there are no expectations. We feel comfortable playing the game how we want, and are unbothered about the outcome. So, when it comes to your aspirations, whether you want a six-pack by the end of the year, or something as insignificant as getting foot champs on FIFA, do not underestimate the power of playfulness. 1. Playfulness will allow you to improve. The more playful you are, the more you will feel comfortable trying new things. Whether they work out or not doesn't really matter, as long as you learn from your mistakes and are aware of where you need to improve. If you get too serious, you're more likely to stick with what you know will work, what you know you're good at, as you'll be too afraid of making any mistakes, and you'll stagnate. 2. Maintaining a sense of humour and fun will keep you mentally and emotionally balanced. You don't want your work to affect your mood, even when you're not working. Leave that shit at your desk, bro, trust me. If you let your work affect your mood too much, you'll begin to resent it and feel an overwhelming sense of stress and anxiety whenever you think about it. Which leads me on to my third reason, burnout. We hate burnout. If you get to the stage where you're feeling burnt out, something's gone wrong. You need to find a different way of working or a different attitude towards your work. You want to enjoy what you do. This makes it 100% easier to actually continue pursuing what it is you're working towards. You did enjoy it at one point, otherwise you wouldn't have started. Don't let seriousness kill your pleasure and maintain a level of playfulness. This is how we become great at what we do. When I was 10, I started playing badminton. I trained 3 times a week and I was pretty good. By the time I was 15, I was playing for my county and competing in national tournaments. When I was 16, I got a silver medal in a tournament where there were no expectations for me to do well. I promise I'm not just flexing, by the way, there is a point to this. I was thrilled. This was the best I'd ever done, and I played the best I'd ever played. You'd think that this was the start of great things, right? More wins, more medals. No, I lost the group stages of every tournament I played after that. The big win had actually affected me negatively, because from that point on, I was focused on outcomes. If I could get a silver medal in that tournament, I had to maintain that standard for every tournament following that. I was no longer focused on who I was playing and what I had to do to beat them. I simply focused on the result. This almost killed my love for the sport. Over-seriousness will have you obsessing over outcomes. I'll be the first to admit that I've been known to sit refreshing my Instagram, waiting for the 30th like, which is not a productive thing to do. In the book Atomic Habits by James Clear, he very wisely states everyone has high aspirations. This doesn't mean they'll all achieve them. It's the systems they put in place that matter. I am paraphrasing, but the point is, obsessing over results will only push them further away. Put your focus on how you're going to get there, rather than what you actually want. Equally, it'll zap the joy out of whatever you're doing, because results never come immediately. You're better off just enjoying the process. Going back to Atomic Habits by James Clear, very good book, by the way, everyone should read it. He explains a study where a photography teacher gets one half of their class to try and take the perfect photo. The quantity did not matter, as long as the one photo they took and submitted was undeniably breathtaking. Their objective was perfection. They then got the other half of the class to take lots and lots of photos. The quality did not matter. Their objective was quantity. At the end of the semester, it was found that the group that had been asked to take as many pictures as possible actually took the better, more beautiful pictures than the group who had been specifically tasked with doing that. The repetition and the playfulness of these photographers led to better results. They weren't concerned about perfection or the outcome. They were concerned about the process and the art form as a whole. Perfectionism is a trap, and it makes everyone's life harder. If you try and make everything perfect, likelihood is you'll never be happy with anything you make and never show your work to the world, which sounds pretty miserable to me. Embrace imperfection and understand that you need to make mistakes in order to get better. Get your reps in and great things will happen. So as we've discussed, playfulness is often underestimated, but it's a powerful tool that can transform the way we think, learn, and interact with the world. It's not just about having fun, it's a mindset that fosters creativity. I believe that one can better their ability to be playful by changing the way they interact with their work. But in order to do this, I believe that you need to change the way you interact with yourself first. Because to change anything externally, you need to change internally. So we've talked a lot about not letting your life get too serious, but now I want to emphasize how important it is not to take yourself too seriously as well. I believe that the thing that leads most people to take themselves too seriously is an over-pedestalization of their own identity. If you're too attached to a specific image of yourself, you'll become hyper-focused on how others perceive you, the mistakes you make, and you'll reject and resent anything that attacks your perception of self. This creates unnecessary stress and makes it harder to enjoy the present moment. Small failures feel like disasters, and every misstep seems like a personal attack on your identity. A serious mindset often makes you risk-averse. You become so afraid of looking foolish or making mistakes that you avoid trying new things. This once again leads to stagnation, both personally and professionally. You might hesitate to start a project because you're afraid of failing. You may reject new opportunities that require stepping outside your comfort zone, and growth slows down because you're too attached to maintaining a certain image. Ironically, the people who succeed the most are often the ones who fail the most, because they're willing to try, adapt, and learn. I'm going to be blunt here. You don't matter, and nothing you do matters. In 100 odd years, it's likely that no one will even know who you were or what you did. You can choose to see this as depressing. I choose to see it as beautiful. If nothing matters, do whatever you want and take everything in your stride. This attitude will make it a lot easier for you to be playful. And also, people who take themselves too seriously are just exhausting to be around. Like, who the fuck do you think you are? Batman? Don't get too attached to your own image, or you'll never give yourself room to grow. Try and see yourself as a blank slate. Adding to this, last year, I read a book called The Illustrator's Guide by James Hughes. He strongly advises that when wanting to be an expert in your field, you should always maintain the attitude of a beginner. Beginners don't take themselves too seriously. No matter how long you've been doing it for, no matter how good you perceive yourself to be, no matter what you've achieved, never let yourself believe you're an expert. Never tell yourself that you've made it. It's like Mac Miller said, people get complacent when they think they're the greatest. And it links back to my experience with Rocket League too. Not that I was ever an expert at that. But when you're a beginner, you don't have any preconceived expectations for yourself. You go in relaxed and open-minded and always willing to learn. You take what you're doing seriously, but you aren't over-serious. You're a forever student. This attitude encourages curiosity and experimentation without fear of failure. We remove rigid rules and explore new possibilities, which leads to innovation. So when you're putting in work, chipping away at whatever it is you're doing, remember that there is always room to try and to learn new things. Always listen to helpful criticism and advice, no matter whose it is, and never allow yourself to get stuck in your ways. The final topic I want to cover is otters. Stay with me now. Everyone loves otters. If you don't, then you're not welcome here. Last year, I want to say around April time, me and my girlfriend were on a walk. A Terence McKenna kind of walk. We'd posted up next to this river near where I live, and we'd been sat there for at least an hour or two. Suddenly, I see this thing in the water. It looks like a snake, and it slithers its way to the bank. As it crawls up onto the bank, I say to my girlfriend, "That is a fucking otter." I mean, you can imagine it was the most mind-blowing, breathtaking thing I'd ever seen in my life. It stares at us briefly, then disappears. A few moments later, I hear some scuffling in the tree directly next to us. I wasn't entirely sure what was going on, but I eventually look upwards, and in this dead tree branch, maybe maximum 10 feet away, is this otter staring into my soul. When I tell you it's the most beautiful thing I've ever witnessed, I'm not exaggerating. I've always said that if I could go back to any moment in my life, it would be that. Anyways, moving on. Maybe last week, I was reading a section of a book covering angel numbers, and just general signs from the universe. I wouldn't say I necessarily believe in angel numbers, but it is a cool concept. Anyway, apparently the universe can send you signs by giving you meaningful encounters with animals. I immediately searched the meaning of seeing an otter. I found that seeing an otter can mean that one is letting their life get too serious and might want to consider getting back in touch with their inner child. It really resonated with me and is actually the reason why I'm making this video. An otter's motto is, "Frolic as if nobody is watching, and if possible, bring someone with you." Once again, we love otters. If I had to summarize the messages of this video into a couple sentences, I'd say, just lighten up a bit, mate. No one cares, and the people that do are just fucking themselves. Hope this helped. Best of luck, people. If you made it to the end of this video and you enjoyed, then please make sure to give the video a like. It goes so far, and if you want to see more, I upload regularly, so please consider subscribing. Also, comment what you thought below. This is the segment of the video where we talk about the artwork briefly, because I did not spend 4 hours doing this just to not talk about it. For more artwork, I'm going to link my Instagram in the description, and I also have a shop that I sell posters and t-shirts on, so check those out as well. I'm very happy with this one. I think it turned out well. It's definitely taken inspiration from that meme with the dog sitting in a room full of fire. Anyways, that's it.